Why do I collect? One, I can't imagine not collecting. I tried. My late wife, Reiko, she was the sort of person who would say, if you're not using it, just sell it. And so I did. I started selling a lot of stuff at Monsterpalooza. It was only when, after she died, you know, I wanted to sort of change the house a bit. It was something that was therapeutic, and I started putting frames on the walls. You know, the edge of the frames open up and you just slide new posters in. What I like is, I have a passion for film, so everything's sort of around film. Some people have paintings on the wall, and I just have film posters. My name is Miles Flanagan, and I'm originally from the UK, from York, but I'm now living I've lived in LA over 30 years. And I love film, I love movies, and I love collecting things. And is it a disease? Is it taking me over? I don't know, but I love it. I've been collecting since probably about 10, and I still have things from the age of 10. So I have so many collectibles here. This is sort of a smorgasbord of things that have meant a lot to me. I mean, there's things like, you know, the Planet of the Apes trading cards. I've got the full set, which I had when I was a kid. Now this I'd never heard of, but it was fascinating. Here's Bo, and it's Bo Derek with her own trading cards and poster. But I was just thinking, sort of, who's this marketed towards? And they're all just poses of her from her husband, John Derek. And then you've got this, this isn't the one that I had when I was a kid, but this is the classic Corgi Yellow Submarine. Absolutely fantastic. This other car is from Jerry Anderson's Secret Service that I had from a kid, still boxed and everything, and that was one of his least famous of his marionette shows. Jerry Anderson's mostly famous for Stingray, Thunderbirds, shows like that. And then we have this, which is from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and it's the bobsleigh. It's from the bobsleigh scene. This must be, I guess, James Bond, who's George Lazenby. And this was mine. This was mine from, I don't know, it must be about 6, something like that, 6 or 7, and I've had it ever since. And like a lot of these collectibles, I've had a lot of them since I was a little kid. Some got damaged and some I've replaced. Sometimes I'd sell some on it at Monsterpalooza, regret it, and buy them back again. I mean, you know, I grew up with TV. A lot of people say, oh, you can only really enjoy movies, you know, when you see them in the cinema, which is true, but most of those people, if you actually talk to them, they will have seen the majority of the classics on TV. So I guess it came from TV, but we used to go to the cinema a lot. And I do remember the first, I'm slightly confused, the first film I ever saw was either Rex Harrison's Dr. Dolittle, which was '67, or it was Disney's Pinocchio, the classic animation. Probably the greatest piece of animation ever made. So it was one of those. Both of them really impressed me, and they still do today. I loved the TV movie Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and someone recently made, starring Jim Hutton and Kim Darby. Someone recently, and it was remade, produced by Guillermo del Toro. And someone recently made these little figures, which are really nicely done. But my son, when he was little, was obsessed with this film, you know, when he was about 6 or 7. And so what we would do is before there was any merch, because it was before the remake and before the sort of resurgence of interest, we made one out of clay. And this is a version we made together, me and my son, which I think is pretty cool. Not many people in the UK know about this. This was The Goon Show, which was a radio show starring Peter Sellers, Harry Seacombe and Spike Milligan. And it's where Peter Sellers first sort of became famous. This actually, they later did a puppet version of it called Telegoons in the early 60s. And this was one of the rare puppets of one of the characters, Eccles, who was voiced by Spike Milligan. He's really dumb. But I managed to get this on eBay, and it even comes with the box, which is kind of cool, which I don't know if you can see up there, actually says Telegoons, and that's how they sent it. But it's totally unused, Again, it's not film, but it's all related to film, it's TV. Everyone's got a favourite James Bond film, and it's usually not the best Bond film, but it's usually the first Bond film that they saw at the cinema. So I'd seen re-releases, but the first new Bond film I saw at the cinema was Diamonds Are Forever. So of course I had to buy the Diamonds Are Forever car, which you can tell it's a sticker. So it was just a regular car die-cast that was in the film, and they just put the sticker on the side, but anything with the logo. The big toy was of course the moon buggy, which in the film really plays, it's not a significant part of the film. You could miss that entire bit out. He just gets in it, smashes through a wall and then jumps out. But as a toy, it was pretty cool. I remember it was kind of exciting seeing it on the big screen. So everybody my age, when I was a kid, had to have one of these. And it's really nice artwork as well on the sides. Like the arts, I mean, I made Super 8 films when I was a kid. I made gory films. I made a film that was so gory, Bloodbath, Psycho movie it was called. That was on Regular 8. And I think my mum showed it to my uncle once and he almost fainted. I always wanted to make movies, but I didn't know how to, because I came from a working class background in Yorkshire. And so eventually I worked out that if I went to art school, I could then somehow do that through graphic design, maybe. And eventually I went to, there was a sidetrack where I did fashion for a year in London. Then I realized that was wrong. And then I did animation, film and animation at Middlesex Poly, now known as Middlesex University. And that's when I realized, well, yeah, I could do animation and that might move into film. And so the animation I did was mixed media. My career when I was an animation director and doing commercials, I remember someone, I think I saw someone with a pull-out business card and I thought, oh, I could do one better. I wanted to have something that was fun. So it was, I did a card with some of my work on one side listed, and then on the other it was examples of some of the work. Because I thought a business card, this was before really the internet could handle video. I remember having conversations with friends and we'd saying, oh God, can you imagine if the internet, if you could have feature films on the internet? And we'd be thinking, that's ridiculous. How could you have that much, information streaming? It was like late 80s, early 90s, and then I did music videos, but I also, at the same time, I was running an independent record label with my friend Mark Godin. But then I moved into music videos and then commercials and came over here. Commercials were going really well, and I had a lot of free time even when I was doing the commercials. Commercials were live action and animation. I decided to do film festivals. So I set up Hollywood Horror Fest, Los Angeles Animation Festival, and Boobs and Blood. Boobs and Blood would raise money for breast cancer charity. Hollywood Horror Fest, we have the Vincent Price Award, which I work with Victoria Price, and we celebrate icons of horror like Elvira, she won it, Cassandra Peterson, Joe Dante, Sid Haig, John Landis, Rick Baker. And then I met people through the festivals, and I set up an independent distribution company because a lot of people were getting, I was discovering more about indie film and about young filmmakers and old filmmakers, just, indie filmmakers. So we set up a distribution company called Film Fest Distribution. And that was because I'd heard so many terrible stories about people being, treated badly and ripped off. Through that, I started another thing called Indie Film LA. And then moving on, I'm setting up a small film school, and then I have a Soho Cinema Club where we recreate the cinema-going experience of the 60s and 70s. We do a full program all on film, feature films, shorts. I get dressed up like this as a 60s, 70s style cinema manager, usherettes. We have an intermission with magic, with interaction, because people forget there was a lot of live interaction in cinema in the 60s and in the 70s. And so we recreate that. So when I was a kid, I just wanted to get involved in cinema, so I'd write to my local cinema manager. We had two chains. We had the Odeon chain and the ABC, two great cinemas. But the manager of the Odeon, he was George Shepard, And he was a great guy, and he used to invite me over. And I went over, and he'd give us a guided tour of this beautiful Odeon cinema, Art Deco cinema, tell us lots of stories, and then occasionally he'd send me film posters. He couldn't send lots of film posters because they had to return them, but if it was damaged, I always noticed he could send me them if it was slightly torn or something. I think that's when he didn't have to send them back if they were damaged. But I've still got them here. I've still got the posters. I think that started the collection going and the interest. I mentioned the 2 cinema chains, you know, and you could smoke in those days in the cinema, so you could get ABC cinema matches. So this has been saved all those years. You know, from the Odeon chain, that was your coaster. For maybe for beer, because sometimes they tried having bars for a while. These preview magazines, and these are all mine from when I used to go to the cinema. For some reason I decided to save them. They used to have little ads, and it would sort of what's coming on next. So you could be like, oh my God, Scum's coming on, or the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, even Jackie Chan, before Jackie Chan really broke through, there was still, every now and again, they were trying to push Jackie Chan. So I'd get in free to the ABC chain, and the pass, I would get into the Odeon. And again, you had competitions, you had articles in these free things for, what's that? That's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Leonard Nimoy. Win Sophia Loren? Really? When you went to the cinema, and it's at the ABC, in Saturday mornings, you would get buttons, you'd get badges, it would say in the UK, and the badges would say ABC Minors, because it was for young kids. And so I've been collecting these. Some of these, I've got the whole set, but only a few on display. Some are from when I was there as a kid, and some I've collected later. But this whole badge thing, I like to bring it back. So when I do the Soho Cinema Club events, we have our own buttons. And we do, like at the ABC Minors, you'd have magicians there, and the cinema manager would come out if it was your birthday, and everyone would sing happy birthday, and you'd get a present. And, but I like having buttons and badges. I like recreating that sort of stuff. Most stuff I collect is film related, and if it's not film related, it's like graphic design related. It's something, it's usually retro, you know, it's not modern. The thing about film is, film encompasses everything. You've got the film poster, you have the actual film, you have the title sequence, you have paperback tie-ins, you know, model tie-ins, you know, toys, things like that. So film isn't just about film, it can lead to other things. So here we go. When I was a kid, it was the easiest thing to collect. It was like the cheapest thing to collect, and it was paperback tie-ins. So like this one, Hands of the Ripper. It's probably one of the worst condition books in my collection, but it's the one that I bought when I was probably about 10. And they were so cheap to buy, you know, like the equivalent of like 10, 15 cents. And even when you bought them new, like this, I've had this since 1975, so I was 11. And I remember having to save up for this. Terrible movie, Legend of the Werewolf. The paperback, the artwork, I think is stunning. Yeah, these paperbacks, I just think they're so cool, because I wouldn't read them now. If I read one, I'd have to buy a different copy that I could actually, you know, bend the pages a lot. Although I do know how to read these without bending the spine. There's a trick to it. But the artwork's wonderful. And this is a series, well, really a series. It's Monarch books, but it's great covers for not very good movies. Though Gogo's a lot of fun. You know, it's a man in a dinosaur outfit movie. Britain's answer to Godzilla. But what was interesting about a lot of these paperbacks is often they were written before the film was made, so they would just be given the script, and so they can tell you things that didn't appear in the final movies. You get a lot more backstory, and sometimes you discover, you know, things that you didn't get from the actual film. But I love collecting them. I love collecting like the Planet of the Apes. I pretty much got all the Apes films. And they had two different covers for Beneath, and all these are from when I was a kid. I bought all these apart from that one, which is signed, and Sean got me that. When you have a smaller collection, you can curate, I don't know, some people have their you know, Blu-rays and it's all alphabetical or in terms of actors or directors, but once you start playing them, taking them out of the racks or the drawers and putting them back in, and you get more of them, and then, you know, like, it just becomes a jumble. But I just put up posters and things that I like that look good. They just look good. It's some posters, films I just hate, but the posters are great. Some posters of films that I've never seen and the artwork's great. It's nice when it's your favorite film, it means a lot, and the artwork is also amazing, and I've got a few of those. I mean, there's Man Who Fell to Earth poster by Vic Fair, which is absolutely amazing. It's iconic. And surprisingly, before I even knew who the artist was, you know, some of my favorite posters that I'd been buying were by him. I just didn't know, like Vampire Circus, Tom Chantrell. He's famous for a lot of people for doing the British Star Wars poster, which I think is okay. I think it's great. What Tom was great at was, you know, like dinosaur movie posters. He could write the text in the side of the volcano with the rock sticking out. He was great at that. And also I think the majority of his career, especially in the 70s, was doing British sex comedies. And if you're in this, watching this in the States, you'll be thinking, oh, is it? No, it's not. It's like, I think people going into the films were hoping it was, but it absolutely wasn't. It was usually, you know, really bad versions of like a Benny Hill sketch stretched out to 1.5 hours. But his posters were great. I think Tom really enjoyed painting semi-naked women. Yeah, this is probably my all-time favorite thing. And it's the bound copies of House of Hammer magazine, which was went from it was the mid-70s. Des Skin was the publisher, and it would feature a comic version of one of the Hammer classics. They started off with The Horror of Dracula, also known as Dracula in the UK. So this is how, as a kid living in Yorkshire, where Night of the Living Dead, where were you going to see that? It wasn't on TV, it wouldn't be screened at the local cinema, but you'd read about it, and then you had these absolutely beautiful covers. Look at these, absolutely stunning. So this was a way of keeping in touch with what was going on. I mean, they talk about Mexican horror films. They weren't showing these on TV in the UK, so you wouldn't see anything like. I wouldn't see anything like this till I came to the US. But yeah, these, I have the binders. I have 3 binders, and then it changed names. And luckily, I have the binder for the name change, the Halls of Horror. I think it was because Hammer was no longer. But they still kept it going. Now Monster Mag was published. I only discovered Monster Mag once it had ended, but I managed to get lots of all the back issues when I still lived in London. And this was produced by Des Skin again, and it was a fold-out poster magazine. So this would open up into a poster of, say, that, but it was the early version of Fangoria, because it would feature all the gory stuff inside. You know, you had all the gory shots. So it really was. It was before, yeah, like this. This was the first one I ever bought, number 3. That's the poster. I remember having that on my bedroom wall, and my mother thinking, "Oh my gosh, what the heck?" But yeah, so they would show all the gory scenes, and when you saw the movie, you'd a blink and it was gone. But these were fantastic magazines, and over the years I managed to I bought most of these when I still lived in London. The House of Horror. I used to see this at the local W.H. Smith, which was a sort of a large newsagent where you could get books and stationery and all sorts of things. This is all about Hammer. This is the poster artwork from Twins of Evil, and it was a book that I must have bought when I was about 10, maybe even younger. I had to save up a lot of money. What's great about it is it covers the entire history of Hammer films, goes through all their horror movies. I love this book. A lot of these films were never made. That was never made, that was never made. but the artwork is pretty stunning. And it was just, this is a great book, and it encompassed all the Hammer films, which some you could still see in cinemas, but most of them were just on TV. So this book really got me excited about horror and about films, and it's it's in my top 3. Of course, I have a Super 8 film collection. Not everything is in a box, but I've got, I mean, this is, okay, just grabbing 2 things nearby. Dawn of the Dead on Super 8. Yeah, and that's it. It's actually Super 8. There you go. It's like, I think it's about an hour. It's an hour long. And it was dubbed from German into English. Now this is fun. We screen this at the Soho. We'll probably do that this year. So if you want to check out sohocinemaclub.com, this is all the Planet of the Apes films in 40 minutes. So Planet of the Apes, Beneath, Escape, Conquest, Battle. 40 minutes you can watch. Who wants to waste their time watching the full-length versions when you can see them all in 40 minutes? Because that's how they were released, in small 200-foot spools. So the box would be that size, and each 200 foot's like 8 minutes. So these are colour, sound, and it's a lot of fun. They're edited down, so in 8 minutes you're not going to see the whole film, but it's pretty incredible how well they tell the stories. That's a fun one. There's also feature films. Even though I'm saying that, this is an edited down version, but it's nice artwork. This is 400 foot, so this lasts about 60 minutes. This is Land That Time Forgot. I've talked about different things I'm involved in, film distribution, film festivals. So if you want to check out what we do, and I say we because there's a lot of volunteers and other people involved, you can always go to Film Freeway, look up Hollywood Horror Fest, or Film Freeway Los Angeles Animation Festival, or you can just go to hollywoodhorrorfest.com. You can also check out Indie Film, that's INDIE Film LA.org. That's where we showcase young filmmakers, old filmmakers, but short films, and we create community and people talk about their work, and we have open Q&As. And then there's Soho Cinema Club, which is Soho, SOHO Cinema Club.com, and that's like a hub to go to all the screenings we do on film. You can find out and sign up for a newsletter, and there's also the HollywoodFilmSchool.org, which we're setting up in the near future, and that's where we're going to teach people how to make films on a low budget and get them distributed. I think partly people collect as a bit of a time machine. I think it's to go back in time to a time when maybe life was easier when you were a kid, so there's nostalgia there. I do that to a certain degree, but I also collect things. There are things that I collect that I didn't know I wanted until I see them. I have on my mantelpiece here, I have some 1940s ashtrays with this man and woman holding bowling balls, and I just love the artwork. So I love that sort of retro artwork. So I think ultimately what I like is I have a passion for film, so everything's sort of around film. Some people have paintings on the wall, and I just have film posters.
Show's over. Come back tomorrow.